Day 27. We're talking past versus present. There's a difference. And I know, you're probably thinking, Sunday, we know that there's a difference between past and present. There are some people who do not understand the difference. Now, if you have an issue with somebody about something in the past, you can talk about it. You can try to get down to it. You can try to work through it if you want to, if they agree to it. Otherwise, you're kind of on your own on that one, because 9 times out of 10, someone's not going to want to work through that. Unless you get extremely, extremely lucky and blessed. Then they'll work with that through you. They'll work through that with you. I mixed up all of those words. All of them. Goodness. I put this one here and this one. Okay. Anyways. If it is still happening in your face, in the present moment, in the present day, it is no longer in the past. It is a present issue. Just because it happened in the past doesn't mean that it stays in the past. If it is still happening in front of you right now, guess what? It is now in the present. It is no longer in the past. And there are lots of people who get that confused. Because they are not aware of it. They cannot pay attention to it. They can't see it. That's another difference. You may see it. You may know that it's happening. And you may try to bring it up. You may try to address it. They may not be able to. They may not have the clarity. They may not have the mental space. They may still be wearing rose-colored glasses that they do not want to take off. And guess what? You can't rip them off. That is something that you personally have to do. Like, you personally have to remove the rose-colored glasses from yourself. You can't force somebody to do it. Trust me, I have tried. I have tried to give every piece of truth, every piece of evidence. If they are not ready, if they are not willing, they're not gonna do it. They're not. They are not capable. They are not able. They are so fixated and safe in their delusion, in their ignorance, in their whatever word you want to insert here, that they cannot do it. And for some of us, that is very, very unfortunate, because that's some of our biggest issues with people. It is some of our biggest issues with people. It's like, hey, I do not like how you are speaking to me. Hey, I do not like what you are doing to me. You may not be aware of what you're doing, but I can see it. We can see it. Can you please stop? If they see nothing wrong with what they are doing, well, guess what? The past is still going to live in the present, but they're going to only see it as, oh, well, you're bringing up the past. Well, okay then. You stay in your delusion, that's fine. I, personally, choose to live in the now. But if it's still happening, it's in the present. Ugh. And that is sometimes the things that hurt the worst, is when someone is in our face and we're trying to bring something to their attention, like, hey, this is bothering me, this is upsetting me, or hey, this is happening to my kid and we need to work through this. We need to be better. We need to do better. And if you are the only one willing and able to put in that work, I am sorry to have to be the one to tell you this. You are in a one-sided relationship. Doesn't matter what level of relationship it is. It can be family, friend, romantic, platonic, whatever. Or even work. You're in a one-sided relationship. Things will not get taken care of. Things will not be repaired. You will not be able to reconnect. Yeah, words are still. I just got done being outside in the heat and oof. Anyways, you won't be able to move forward with that person. And if you are met with, well, why can't you let this go? Why can't we do the, I don't know, what's the word I'm trying to find? They will want to move on, move past it, and just go back to everyday conversation like nothing happened. You can't do that. You cannot do that. I cannot remember the actual word that means. Manipulation is coming to my brain, so it might be that. But do not hold that to me. Do not hold me to that, because I do not know for sure. I cannot remember right now. I had it earlier, but I forgot. Spicy brain. But you can't do that. You owe it to yourself. We owe it to ourselves to be in relationships where we have give and take, where we're both, or the group is striving for the same goal. You want to repair, reconnect to move forward. You cannot go under it, over it, around it. You cannot dismiss it, brush it under the rug, nothing like that. You have to go through it. And if someone is not willing to go through it with you, you're on your own. And as someone who was left and pushed to go and figure things out on their own because I didn't get the help that I wanted and needed in those moments, instead I got ridiculed, criticized, threatened, abused, and traumatized. Those are not spaces and places and people you want to be around. Those people and places and things are not safe for you. Like, these are the bare minimum of being safe. Just because you have 4 walls and a roof over your head does not mean you're safe. Just because you have food provided for you on the table does not mean that you are safe. Those are bare minimums that everyone wants to cling to for dear life. But guess what? That's only a portion of the bare minimum, my dear. That is only a portion of the bare minimum. You deserve more. You deserve better. You deserve to have your inner all needs met. Especially by people that say they love you, they care about you, they care about your well-being, they support you. These are the things that you need to be looking for with those people, places, and things that are saying, hey, this is how we feel about you. Are their actions matching their words? Are they willing to sit there and have a conversation about uncomfortable truths? Are they? Are you? Are you able to do that? Because that's the first step. First, you got to be completely bluntly honest with yourself. And sometimes that is really, really freaking hard to do. So hard to do. But once you do it, you will live such a better life because of it. I promise you. I promise you. Those are some of the hardest decisions we have to make, is being honest with ourselves. Realizing, okay, I made this move wrong. I may have used the wrong words here. And that's why apologizing, yes, is super, super important, especially to your kids. If you are an adult child or a young adult or a teenager or a child whose parents do not apologize to you appropriately, and I've already explained what the appropriate apologizing is, you acknowledge that it happened. You acknowledge your part that happened. It doesn't matter why you did it. Because of XYZ, it does not matter. You still have to acknowledge, okay, I was in the wrong, and I'm realizing that this happened to you because of this. I apologize for doing this thing, treating you this way. I am sorry that my action caused this with you. And then you have to have action steps to follow that apology. What are they going to be able to look for? I will from this day forward no longer blah, 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 blah. I will from this day forward start doing yada, 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 yada. Like that is a proper apology. You can't just be like, oh, I'm sorry. You cannot say, I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry. If you say, I'm sorry you feel blah, 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 unfortunately, that's not a real apology. That is like the most sarcastic, manipulative phrase. I'm sorry you feel that way. I wouldn't be feeling this way if you didn't do what you did or said what you said. So let's get to the nitty-gritty of that. Those are environments, those are times, those are places, those are people that are showing you, hey, guess what? You're by yourself. This is not going to get corrected. This is not going to get fixed. They do not see a problem in what they are doing. And they won't, unfortunately. Now, every once in a while, you will find someone who is willing and able to do this with you. Those are your people, places, things, etc. Yes, that is the difference. That is the difference. That is the difference from taking something that is in the present and putting it in the past. If you work through it together, guess what? Now it's in the past. If you come with corrected behaviors, it's no longer in the present. It's now in the past. And now you can leave it in the past because you fixed it. You corrected it. It was corrected. It got fixed. Now you're on the way to repairing and reconnecting. It is literally as simple as that. Now, it may be a little muddy getting through that. You just got to remember, stand your ground. Do not be defensive. Do not be offended. Listen. And you will probably be triggered. And they will probably be triggered. But remember, triggers are lessons and opportunities to grow. They are lessons and opportunities to grow. That is the most important thing to remember. Don't use the trigger. Listen to the trigger. What is it telling you? My triggers were telling me, get out. Get out. You are not safe here. You are not being heard. Nothing is going to be corrected. Nothing is going to be fixed. Go. You have to leave. You have to go find safety somewhere else because you are not in a safe environment. And it was one of the most unfortunate, heartbreaking, hardest decisions I ever had to make. Because in doing so, I orphaned myself. In doing so, I stepped away from a large part of my relatives because I don't consider them family anymore. They are relatives because they do not believe me. They have sided with my abusers, and it don't fly like that over here. If you support my abusers, you can't have both. You can't have me and my abusers. It just does not work that way. It doesn't work that way. If you have someone who has been abusing you, and you have someone that's supporting the person that abused you, and they're not believing you, they're not listening to you, and they're so fixated on how you went about defending yourself and sticking up for yourself and protecting yourself, instead of the reality of what happened and what they have done, or at that point were doing, they are showing you through their actions that their words do not mean anything. You cannot take someone at face value. You cannot take someone at word value. Their words and actions have to match. And here's another thing. Just because someone's actions speak positively does not mean that their words do. They both have to match. Someone's like, oh, well, my words are blah, 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 but my actions, but they're not matching. They're not matching. It means you are in an unhealthy pattern, which means you are toxic. It's an unfortunate reality, but you have to realize that. You have to see that what you're doing and what you're saying matters. The details may not matter, but what you're doing and saying have to matter. Like, they have to match. They mean something. So don't sit there and continue to excuse it. Oh, well, that's so-and-so. Well, if that's so-and-so and that's how they are all the time, no thank you. No thank you. I don't care if they're your mama, your daddy, your uncle, your aunt, your brother, your sister, your cousin. It don't matter. It does not matter what the title is. Take the title away. If it was a random stranger on the side of the street treating you in this manner, would you accept it? Would you accept it? If the answer is no, you would not accept it. They have unearned that title. Stop fixating on the title. Stop fixating on blood. Fixate on how you are being treated, how you are being spoken to. Does it match what you need? Does it match what you deserve? Because if not, you got to go find somewhere else. That's not your place. That's not your people. That's not your environment. You got to go find your own. And I know it's going to suck. I know it's going to hurt, but you got to. You got to. That's the only way you're going to be able to start truly healing from the inside out. Take it for someone who did, and who fought and fought and fought and fought and fought and fought and fought hard to try and keep my family together. But I had to go. I had to go. I fled to safety in the best way I knew how, and unfortunately I had to lie to do it. I had to lie to the people in my household that I was currently living in at that point in time. I had to lie to them because I had to flee under their noses in the day of light, in the light of day. I'm all flip-floppy today. So sometimes we have to lie to keep ourselves safe in certain environments. And I don't like lying. I don't like lying. It definitely added to my anxiety and the triggers that I was feeling because I knew that I was leaving. I knew that I was fleeing. I knew that I had no other freaking choice. So do it for yourself. It is not selfish to take care of yourself. It is not selfish to put yourself first. It is not. If you have someone telling you that it is loyal for you to make sure that they're okay instead of you, that is toxic loyalty. Toxic loyalty. And that don't fly. No. No. You cannot allow that. You cannot allow that. I know. But you cannot do that. You owe it to yourself. And if you have children, you owe it to them too. It is not alienating anybody if you are protecting yourself and your child from toxicity. It is not alienating anybody if you are protecting yourself and your child from narcissism. It is not alienating anybody from yourself or your children because you had to remove yourself from an unsafe, toxic environment. That is not alienating. If you have a reason and you are being mistreated and abused or whatever, it's not alienating. It is not. And you have to know that. Do not let anybody else talk you down and out of that because that is an enabler. That is an enabler. And you don't deserve to have that happen to you. You do not. So, past versus present. If it is still happening, if it is still happening, it is no longer in the past. It is now in the present. It is now in the current, now moment. And if you want it to stop and make it the past, you gotta go, baby. You gotta go. All right? Mwah, mwah, mwah. I love you. Have a great ass day. You can do this. You can do it. I believe in you. You are brave enough. You have the courage. Find your resources.